How did I wind up here today? Is it because I have something that you don't? Is it that I know something special? My ego would love to answer yes to both of those options. However, the truth is far from either. The truth is that I am here because I learned how to surrender to that internal call that we all hear at one point or another in our lives. My name is Eldra, and according to the state of California, I was destined to die in prison. On November 1st, 1990, I was arrested for a series of atrocities, including attempted murder, robbery, and kidnapping. I was 19 years old and would ultimately be sentenced to life plus 17 years. At the time, I had been back in the community a grand total of 21 days following my second stint in the California Youth Authority. At this point, I was a very prolific yet unsuccessful criminal. I was a gang member, drug dealer, thief, and all-around pariah on society who was classified as a habitual danger to self and others. Certainly, someone worthy of separation from society at large. From the outside looking in, you might assume that I came from a broken home, wrong side of the tracks, single-parent household, and all of the usual environs the movies tell us that scumbags come from. Nope. I was born to two loving parents and grew up with my sibling, blessed with tremendous opportunities to travel the globe while my father served in the military. My deviant character was a product of my own design. I manufactured a set of beliefs within self and constructed a space more potent than any state-sponsored cage could ever hope to be. I taught myself how to imprison my own mind. The cornerstone of my creation was set on a couch in Kitzingen, Germany. There was a teenage girl who babysat my younger sister and I. My parents would leave, and not long after, she would put my sister down to sleep so that we could play the sleeping game. She would play sleep with me on top of her chest, shirt open, bra undone, and freedom for a young mind and hands to roam at will. I was building the belief that people were objects, inanimate, and something to easily detach from, with no sense of intimacy. I was 6 years old. This babysitter had an older brother who would sometimes come over and help. I recall one night in particular he came over. His sister took my sister in the bedroom, leaving he and I alone on that same couch. I wanted no parts of what he was suggesting. His reply, okay, if you don't want to, I'll just go in the other room and see what's happening with your little sister. She was 3, I was 7. I was big brother, and it was my responsibility to look out for her. In making the decision to capitulate, I built this section of my prison that said loving put me in harm's way. I constructed the gun tower that said caring for others was a liability, and the best way to survive was to be the hunter, not the hunted, and that doing whatever the hell I wanted, to whoever the hell I wanted, whenever the hell I wanted, was how to stay on top and not feel the crushing weight of fear, desperation, and helplessness. Some might rationally ask, why didn't you tell someone? Why not let your parents know? I couldn't. I was encased in my own penitentiary of fear, self-doubt, confusion, and on and on and on without a clue about how to escape. This is how I chose to exist and careen through life, bringing harm to everyone in my path and destroying all that I touched in one way or another. Once I found myself in a physical prison that could complement my mental and emotional construct, all was right in the universe. I went about my business playing the role of convict for over a decade, proving to myself and others that I was exactly where I was supposed to be. So much so, I once again wound up in solitary confinement, prison within prison. In that space, I heard my breath. I listened. There was silence. Then another breath. There was an opening that provided a space for inquiry. Why was I where I was? Not in the physical, but the mental and emotional. These were the sorts of internal quests I began to embark on when I was adopted by a group called Inside Circle while in New Folsom Prison. Facilitators in the circle supported me on a journey of self-discovery that demanded I learn to surrender. Surrender to what was motivating me. Surrender to the revelation of what the cost was to myself and others for acting minus any modicum of impulse control. Surrender to why I was not only allowing fear to be the pilot of my life, but why I couldn't muster the will to face truths about myself. Doing the work, as we call it in Circle, walked me to places within that allowed me to investigate my mind, closet by closet, no matter how dark the shadows I discovered might be. Circle provides the opportunity to sit in a safe, sacred space and look at my mental and emotional template. Doing so in a maximum security prison was akin to making a do or die decision. Do I stand up to myself and learn to reconnect? Or do I die a husk of what could be, existing on the outer edges of humanity? Sitting in Circle is like a pressure cooker that has all the natural juices and berries of life present in one space, and you get to experience it all without judgment, without ridicule, and with permission to tap into what's present, no matter what it looks, sounds, feels, or smells like. In Circle, I grew to know the taste of freedom. Freedom from fear, freedom from self-hate, freedom from self-imposed captivity. And once I tasted it the first time, my appetite became insatiable. I began to move into my natural self. Circle supported me in questioning my stinking thinking. Thought follows mind, and action follows thought. I was challenged to question where my thoughts were not simply from, but how they were born, and how they were or were not serving me. I was encouraged to find a purpose in alignment with my spirit and dedicate my energy to showing up in the world from that place. I learned that hurt people, and healed people heal people. When I'm pissed off, is it you? Or the value I put on your actions? When I'm frightened, is it what you do? Or the judgments I place on you? How much of what I build in my mind is based on expectations I place on the external How much longer am I willing to let my internal realm be confined by a belief system designed by a child? The circle showed me how to find freedom by going to my core. And by doing so, I found that little boy. I relearned what innocence felt like. I was reintroduced to the comfort of caring, the safety of love, the love for self that allows love for you. In 2014, 24 years after entering California's prison system, and 36 years after entering a self-imposed prison, I was paroled. Today, I serve as co-executive director of Inside Circle and strive to ensure that this work continues so that others Today, I continue this work with Inside Circle, supporting not just justice-involved people, but young people, so that they don't have to struggle with self-imposed captivity. We work to provide a space so that any human who is struggling with the condition of being human has a safe space. Together, we can save lives, one circle at a time. Thank you.